WrestleManiacs, Maniacs. This is the podcast, it's called WrestleManiacs. Adam, Donna, Indy, and Josh. Been now together forever and son. WrestleManiacs. This is the podcast, it's called WrestleManiacs. WWE, AEW, TNA, JPW. WrestleManiacs.
Good evening, WrestleManiacs. It's Josh here once again, reviewing WWE Monday Night Raw tonight. And what a heck of a show we had tonight. We had Gunther and Io Sky actually advance in the finals, or to the finals, I should say, of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, as well as Bron Breakker pretty much losing his mind and letting Adam Pearce know how unhappy he is about not being in the King of the Ring tournament. So, without further ado, let's just get started and let's just go and review tonight's WWE Monday Night Raw. So we open the show with a Sami Zayn in-ring promo, basically hyping up the triple threat match, letting everybody know what's going to be happening in Saudi Arabia at King and Queen of the Ring this weekend, this Memorial Day weekend, I should say. Typical Sami Zayn promo, basically saying that, what I really liked about this promo is we had Sami Zayn talk about the heart, body, and soul. Or I'm sorry, the mind, body, and soul, excuse me. So basically saying that Chad Gable is the mind of this entire feud. Bronson Reed, I should say, is the body. And then, of course, Sami Zayn is the heart of this entire feud. And basically says, look, he's going to be retaining, and it doesn't really matter. Out comes Chad Gable to disagree, basically saying that he's going to win the Intercontinental Championship, which then leads us to our match with Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn to open Monday Night Raw. Typically pretty good match between these two, but what I really liked is the entire time Alpha Academy had different opportunities to slap Sami Zayn, punch Sami Zayn, do everything, and they just refused until the end of the match when Chad Gable went out, basically slapped the bejesus. I mean, you could see it and feel it out of Otis, basically telling him he was disappointed in him. He rolled back in the ring as he was distracting the referee, and as Sami Zayn was going to go hit a haluva kick basically against Chad Gable, Otis suddenly gets up on the ring apron, gives a clothesline, which then allows Chad Gable to do his O'Connor roll German suplex and actually win the match. So actually, for once, Otis, I wouldn't say turned heel, but reluctantly, and you can tell he really didn't want to do it, actually hit and let Sami Zayn lose the match and cost Sami Zayn the match. So again, pretty good hype for this feud. Again, kind of seems like a rehash of the same entire thing. Well, we've been seeing rehash, but again, maybe hopefully Saudi Arabia will get some definitive win and maybe we'll move on from this feud. What we get next is a Io Sky vignette, basically hyping the match versus Lyra tonight, and it's masterfully done. I've got to say, even though that Io Sky spoke in Japanese, I love the way they put the music. I love the way they have it to where you really can't understand them in terms of Japanese, but they have the subtitles, just kind of like how they did with Shinsuke. I don't know what it is about speaking in Japanese, but I love these promos. Keep them up, WWE. Definitely don't change them. And look, if they speak Japanese, Indian, whatever, keep the subtitles. It makes them even have more heat, I think. So from here, we actually go back to Alpha Academy interviewed, basically talking about what happened until all of a sudden Jackie Redmond comes up and basically says, "Oh, we got a breaking story. Cruz del Toro of the LWO was attacked," and you see LWO rushing to his side and to his aid. Adam Pearce, of course, is upset because one of his superstars was attacked, and this has been happening the last couple of weeks. So this actually leads to the Raw debut of Bron Breakker versus Kale Dixon, who apparently was on NXT Level Up. Don't know who he is. Don't really follow NXT Level Up, but it was nice for the announcers to say who this kid was. Bron Breakker comes out looking impressive as always. He basically goes in the corner, talks to himself about how he wasn't putting in the King of the Ring tournament, turns around, spears Kel Dixon once, throws him out of the ring, runs around and spears him again, rolls him back in, and basically the referee's like, "Stop, it's over with." And as he lets him up, pretty much Bron Breakker decides to change his mind and spear the kid one more time. So a pretty brutal squash match. This is how this is done. This is how you get a character over. You basically make Bron Breakker a killer and a star in one night, essentially. So from there, we come back from commercial break, and actually Dixon's being loaded into the ambulance. And as we see this happening, we can see Kiana James asking Adam Pearce, "Is there anything I can do to help you?" And he's like, "No, I'm busy right now. Leave me alone." And basically turns and goes, "Bron, what the hell's wrong with you? What are you doing?" And Bron said, "You shouldn't have put me in the King of the Ring. You should have put me in the King of the Ring tournament." And basically didn't, so this is on you. Basically promising that more damage is going to be coming in the coming weeks. So, again, really simple. Braun destroys the guy, sends him in an ambulance, tells him he's not done. He's going to break everybody, really, and at least in not hindsight, but in paraphrasing. So, good way to debut Breakker. Again, his voice, excuse me, to be reckoned with, as well as, just a monster. So, again, I love how this was set up. This then leads to a Queen of the Ring semifinal match between Lyra Valkyria and Io Sky. And no surprise, these two gals have a great match. And actually, Lyra picks up the win here. Again, I'm loving these matches with Lyra. She definitely is putting her place on Raw. Now, granted, they're putting her with people that are known to be able to carry and have really good matches with Io Sky and things. But I definitely think that Lyra has a very, very, very bright future. So I definitely like this match a lot. I wouldn't have been surprised if Io Sky ended up picking up the win and there was a feud between her and Damage Control. So I would say the right woman won. Now, my guesstimation is we'll probably get Lyra versus more than likely Nia Jax. Again, I would probably imagine either Lyra is going to win this one, but again, I could see them making Nia Jax the queen because she's got to have some changing gimmick. So Queen Nia might be a thing. Again, I hope that's not the case. I won't put that in the universe, but you never really know with WWE. Then we get another segment with Awesome Truth backstage with New Cash Republic. Truth's just talking to him. Miz comes up, talks to him, and R-Truth says, look, Andre the Giant's going to have our backs tonight. Miz informs him, hey, he's dead. He's not really around. Just typical R-Truth silliness. Look, I love R-Truth, but him with Miz, I don't care about. That was so 2012 as heels. Don't really care to see it. If Truth was with somebody else completely, I'd be more happy. But again, I'm not a fan. I should just say the Awesome Truth. We then go to a backstage interview with Ilya Dragunov, and what we actually have is Ricochet again coming up in a suit, basically saying, "Look, you beat me once; it's not going to happen again." And all of a sudden, out comes Bron Breakker, spearing Ricochet pretty much into the wall, not to the wall, but to like a partition, essentially, as a lockers, and knocking him down and walking off. Ilya Dragunov, we come back from commercial. Ilya Dragunov is just hurt because I guess he hurt his arm somehow, just so angry because the original interview was interrupted by Ricochet and also with Bron Breakker. And Adam Pearce, of course, is still just so angry that the fact that Bron Breakker is causing all these sorts of problems. So definitely we're going to have a feud between them two. I'll be curious to see how that's going to go. So again, a heel Goldberg, let's just say, in Bron Breakker. Not, again, talent-wise, but just a monster, a beast, a bully, essentially attacking everybody he can. And again, Ricochet wearing suits, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if his loss to Dragunov is going to become an obsession and he'll turn heel. Wouldn't be upset at that. Maybe go to his Prince Puma type of thing. Maybe he'll say, I'm not a Ricochet, I'm Prince Puma, I'm a prince. So again, who knows? Because they've been referencing Pumas every time they talk about him. So be pretty interesting to see. I wouldn't be upset at that. What we get next is actually a really cool promo about Gunther. Again, very old school, empty arena. Basically letting everybody know, look, he's going to win the King of the Ring. It's final. Jey Uso, sorry, buddy, it ain't going to happen. So Gunther, of course, just with typical wholesome Gunther smiles all along, just letting everybody know that he is going to be the King of the Ring. And it's just going to be inevitability. We might as well get used to it and just be ready to see Jey Uso get beat down. We then go backstage to the Judgment Day hanging out, and Carlito is there as well. And Priest basically says, look, Carlito, we know that the LWO is after you, but look, good job with Cruz del Toro. We did reveal that he was the one that attacked him, but look, we're not the APA. We're not here to protect you, Carlito. We're not going to just do this for you. You need to earn your keep in the clubhouse. Keep working on it. Keep doing things for us. Maybe we'll let you stay in our clubhouse and be part of the Judgment Day. The only thing I don't really like this use of Carlito, to be honest with you. Again, he's former U.S. champ, former Intercontinental champion, and I don't know. It's very weird to see an older Carlito want to try to join a young faction. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit to me. And again, so Bram Jam, again, I'm sorry I didn't bring this up earlier. Braun is like Goldberg and Big Papa Pump right now. Yes. The spear of Goldberg and the just insanity of Big Papa Pump, and I'm liking it. I'm liking the idea that they're making him a beast and a monster and just paying an ass kicker. Again, it says badass on his singlet tonight, right? So that was a perfect way to say it. So thanks, Bram Jam, for that. What we get next is actually a World Tag Team Championship match with Awesome Truth versus the Judgment Day, being Balor and McDonough. And of course, Carlito tries to interfere, tries to get them the titles, but that's when Braun Strowman allows Awesome Truth to gain the win, goes and, raises his hands in the middle of the ring with him. Of course, the Judgment Day is upset that they didn't win the World Tag Team titles back for the second time. I got to admit, it's kind of weird seeing Braun Strowman with the whole entire QR codes going along with Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy, whatever he's going to be. It's weird to see him kind of running around just being a random person on Raw, whether he's congratulating the Creeds, putting them over, or anything like that. So, kind of weird, to be honest with you. There's going to be a feud with the Judgment Day and Priest, all well and good. Do I think he deserves a world title shot? No. I think it's just going to be another person for Priest to feed on, but I don't know. I think it hurts him. So, again, still your World Tag Team Champions, Awesome Truth. We then get a backstage segment with Lyra walking backstage, runs into Becky Lynch, who congratulates her on going to the finals match of the Queen of the Ring tournament. And then she runs further down in the hallway, same hallway, literally one hallway down, to Liv Morgan. And basically, Liv Morgan talks some trash and slaps the bejesus out of Lyra Valkyria and runs off. Again, I'm really, really liking these sort of things. I'm liking the fact that Liv Morgan basically is just doing what she wants to, and that they're slapping one another. I mean, it's so disrespectful, but in a good way. It's Attitude Era-esque without the cat fights. We then see Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark backstage, and World of Worlds, guess who reappears after months on the injury list? Sonya Deville returns, essentially kind of, putting overtures toward them, and they're like, nah, we don't need you. We don't want to talk to you. We don't even want to speak to you. So, interesting that Sonya Deville, the Mistress of Mischief, I would call her. I don't know if that's her name, but I would just call her that because it makes sense, is back. So I'll be curious to see what she's going to be doing here. We then get Bronson Reed coming into Sami Zayn's locker room, basically telling him, look, I'm going to win in Saudi Arabia. It's just going to be inevitability. You're going to lose the Intercontinental title. Don't worry about Chad Gable. You need to worry about Bronson Reed, and walks off. And then in comes Otis. Of course, the Sami Zayn's just like, look, man, I understand, basically talking about how he once was, of course, trapped under a, sadistic leader, and says, look, Otis apologizes to him and says, look, I had to do it. I had no other choice. And Sammy's like, look, you always got a choice. You got to listen to the fans versus Chad Gable. And, the way they're doing this Chad Gable abusing the Alpha Academy, I'll be curious to see if they cost him the Intercontinental Championship, or it's another story, hopefully, of Chad Gable winning the Intercontinental title in Saudi Arabia. And then maybe that puts Otis to where they start feuding, he and Chad Gable. Would be upset. Again, look, Otis won the Money in the Bank in 2020, and that was a weird thing back then when he was eating steamed hams and all that. So, look, I would love to see a Chad Gable versus Otis feud. It'd definitely be interesting. And you know what? I'll be danged. I'd be curious to see if Chad Gable can actually lift up Otis for one of those O'Connor roll German suplexes. So, we then get a Becky Lynch in-ring promo, basically talking about how she's going to win in Saudi Arabia. Out comes Liv Morgan, says the same thing. These two, physically, it's nice to see them brawl, but their promo skills together just don't seem to click for me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know what it is, but it does not seem to be realistic enough. Ram Jam. So confusing with the names Braun Strowman and Bron Breakker, Judgment Day, JD McDonough. Yeah, I was going to say that earlier. Braun Strowman and Bron Breakker, I'm having to remember and having to write it down on purpose because it does get confusing. We go back to the Judgment Day, and Priest is understandably pissed off, essentially furious that they lost, and tells JD, look, you're going to go challenge Braun Strowman next week. Let Adam Pearce know that's what's going to happen. Basically says he don't even recognize this group anymore. He don't recognize who the Judgment Day is anymore. So I did like that, and I think we're starting more of the tease of the breakup of the Judgment Day. We then go to a backstage segment with Xavier Woods basically rehabbing his leg, essentially, and Kofi Kingston talk about the New Day. Kofi walks off. In comes Karrion Kross and Scarlett, basically letting him know it's going to all get better. I'm curious to see where this is going to go, because Karrion Kross, you don't see him wrestle very much. And Scarlett, of course, is the vixen herself of Vice. So I'll be curious to see kind of what the idea is if he's going to break up the New Day. Is one of them going to turn heel on one another? I wouldn't be upset. It'd be weird. But they've been a championship team, gosh, guys, since 10 years ago, 2014, I think, or 13. So definitely an interesting use of Karrion Kross. So Then we go to the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship Eliminator match. Quite a mouthful. We had Damage Control, which consisted of Kairi Sane as well as, Dakota Kai, our favorite Dakota, at least my favorite Dakota Kai. Just kidding. I'd rather her get kicked out of the group. Versus Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile versus Carter and Chance versus Baszler and Stark. And joy of joys, at least for me, Baszler and Stark pick up the win here. They're going to be challenging for the women's championship match. I love that they actually won this match. Ram Jam. Karrion Kross was like DDP here. Yeah, it kind of was. I like you, and I want you to like you, and me to like you. Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a weird, evil version of the DDP character, motivator, and sort of devil in the ear on the shoulder type of deal, which could work. Almost reminds me of Sean O'Hare's gimmick of basically saying, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. The devil on your shoulder, right? The one that puts seeds of doubt. So I'm not upset about it. It's something different. Poor Karrion Kross has been kind of lost in the shuffle for a while. So yeah, give the man something to do. But again, Baszler and Stark pick up the win here in this Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Team Championship Eliminator match. We then get an interview with Ludwig Kaiser, our favorite German, Austrian, whatever he is, and assures basically Gunther is ready for tonight. And lets everybody know, look, Gunther's going to win. And Sheamus, I'll take care of him. Then Drew McIntyre walks up after and gives his opinion on King of the Ring and Damian Priest is champ and is pretty pissed off that he wasn't booked tonight. So, again, using Drew just kind of as the whiner Drew character. I'm kind of liking it, but I'm hoping he gets back in the ring soon because I like Psychopath Drew where he's actually kicking butt. So, I'm hoping to see that as well. What we get next is a Jey Uso backstage interview look. Can Jey be main event? Yes. But I feel he's just so corny. Those damn sunglasses of his. I don't know, guys. I'm not buying it. It almost seems so forced, like they're trying to get him over. Not that he isn't, because the crowd is with him. They are with the whole up and down thing. I totally understand that. But it just does not scream main eventer. It screams, oh gosh. I'm going to get a lot of heat for this one. It screams Fandango. Da, 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 da. If you remember that. I mean, the talent is there. Do not get me wrong. He has it. But the whole wearing the blue on Monday Night Raw, his brother Jimmy wearing red on SmackDown. Again, I hate that kind of color scheme clash. I mean, again, as weird as that is. But Jey Uso has not won the big one. So, again, I can't take him seriously. I want to. I want him to be over. But he might as well just paint his face blue at this point. Jimmy painted his face red. I don't see the character change or difference. Basically, they kind of talk the same. They don't seem any different than their characters from 10 years ago. So, except for the paint and maybe, more talking. But I don't know. Again, we all kind of know poor Jey Uso is going to be the lamb that's led to slaughter. Essentially, let's see who we got here. Ram Jam. What if Sonya Deville would form her own faction like Absolution with Shayna and Zoe? Oh, yes, please. Perfect. She could talk for them. Baszler's a pretty good talker. Zoe's all right. But yeah, I mean, definitely, why not have Sonya Deville? Because look, Adam Pearce can't control anything on Raw. The man can barely handle somebody not getting attacked every week and, all this sort of stuff. So yeah, why not? Why not do something with her? You definitely need more than damage control. So yeah, that'd be a perfect thing. We then go to our main event, the King of the Ring semifinal match, Jey Uso versus Gunther. And Gunther, of course, as we know, keeps his promise. Gunther has advanced to the King of the Ring finals. Now, again, I would be intrigued to see Gunther versus Randy Orton. I think he'll win on SmackDown. I think he'll win, and it'll be Gunther versus Randy Orton, first-time match between those two. And I think Gunther's going to pull out the win, whether through some nefarious means with the bloodline or Gunther just pins him clean. So, Jey Uso, again, has been put in a hard position. He fought for the World Heavyweight Championship, lost. Fought Roman at SummerSlam, which, again, would have made more sense had he had won it because of the whole story. Lost that one. Lost Intercontinental Championship match versus Gunther and loses to Gunther again. So, Jey Uso, main event my butt, y'all. I mean, again, it's not his fault, but get him to go away for a while because he's tiresome. I'm tired of him. Same promo, same match. You think he's going to win, same moves. I'm not into it. I'm not into it at all. So, Make Jey Uso leave and let's give him a little bit of rehab time. So that's just me. But again, I'm just not a fan. I love Jey, but he is more of an interest. Yeah, I mean, look, he's not the Ultimate Warrior. Okay, his promos make sense. His entrance is flashy. He's taken over the Fireflies, according to him and JoJo Offerman from Bray Wyatt's character. Fine. But can you tell me a great Jey Uso match that didn't have somebody else better than him? Certainly the brothers match was a disappointment. Versus Priest, I'm sorry, that was one of the more boring matches. Again, France being different because everything was so on top and so hot. But even the crowd was like, who cares about this match? Because they all knew who was going to win. So Jey Uso, I think, needs to do something drastic. Leave Monday Night Raw. Go to SmackDown. You know what? No. Go to NXT. Go feud with Trick Williams for the NXT Championship or the North American Championship. Why not? Because I just don't care. I don't care because he's just gimmicks. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't agree. And if you don't agree, that's fine. Comment and let me know if you don't agree. Tell me that you love Jey Uso and why. To me, and Ram Jam, I think you hit the nail on the head. He's more of an entrance. He's more flash. And then once we're in the ring, he's a good enough wrestler, a good hand. But do I see him as world champion? No. If he's going to win the IC championship, great. But world champ, no. King of the Ring, no. So that's really it. WrestleManiacs tonight for the Raw review. A pretty simplistic review tonight. Again, if you will, like and subscribe to the A+ Hero Report channel, WrestleManiacs Podcast on YouTube. You can find me on X at WrestleM You can also follow at A+ Opinions as well as Dotala_ and her Rangers of Wrestling channel on YouTube. So tonight, guys and gals, WrestleManiacs, for me, for Dotala, for Adam, as well as A+ Hero Report and Rangers of Wrestling, I appreciate you guys hanging with me tonight, and I will see you guys on Tuesday night as we review WWE NXT. Elsewise than that, have a good morning, good day, good night, wherever you are and watching this, and see you soon. Take care.